So the sage said, all right, become a dog. And then a few days later, the dog comes back to the sage and says, now the big dogs and the wolves are chasing me. Make me a tiger. So the saintly person says, okay, poof, you're a tiger. So then the tiger starts looking at the saintly person. Lunch. Huh? And the sage says, again, become mouse. You see? So you can become very powerful by worshiping a pure devotee. You can become very powerful by chanting the name of the Lord. But as soon as you misuse that power, it all goes away and it changes. It turns into material energy. You see? All that spiritual energy that you gathered with your austerities and your service and your prayers, that all just becomes material energy. It looks the same on the outside, but inside the essence is changed. But because you don't really understand this philosophy, you can't tell. And so you still cling to that same energy, thinking, ha ha ha, I ripped off my guru, I got the potency now, ha 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 ha. But you don't realize the potency has changed its character from from spiritual to material. So it becomes a bag of rocks, an albatross around your neck that drags you down. You know, ISKCON has gone from the organization, the most strict sadhana standard in the world. It's gone now to where the top gurus are openly advocating gay marriage. And it's really sad. They're openly changing all the books. Openly. Publicly. And they're defending it. And then this rascal on YouTube, he dares to say that, oh, there are good people in ISKCON. Well, if there are good people in ISKCON, they won't stay that way very long. Because whenever you associate with rascals, you become a rascal. When you associate with criminals, you become a criminal. When you associate with homosexuals, you become one. And if you approve of these things, no one with any principles is going to want to associate with you. You know, this guy is suggesting, oh, well, you know, that's just the leaders. You know, really, there's a lot of good people in ISKCON. Wait a minute. Anybody who would join a society with leaders like that can't be very intelligent. Can't have very good ethics. They can't be very serious about spiritual life. Or they would prefer to go off and sit under a tree someplace and chant, all by themselves, rather than associate with people like that. I'm sorry. You know, I don't like to say these things. But if you're going to push me, I'm going to push back. And there's a lot more pushing that I can do. So don't tempt me. So what I want to say tonight to my students is that I'm very, very grateful for your support. This has helped me to realize the instructions that were given to me by Srila Prabhupada confidentially so long ago, 30 years ago. And as far as my own self, I was satisfied back in 2002. As far as my own ambition, I really don't want to be a guru. I really don't. It's too complicated. There's all this nonsense involved. You know, as soon as you take any position like this, it's always a hassle. You know, it's always a drag. You know, and as soon as this isn't fun anymore, I'm no longer interested in it. As soon as this gets complicated, as soon as it gets tricky, as soon as it turns into a big fight and a big, you know, what's that called? Cloak and dagger thing. I'm not interested in it anymore. Huh? I'm not merciful like Srila Prabhupada. I'm only doing this because I was instructed to do it. I really have no heart for, I'm not a very merciful or compassionate person. Ask my disciples. I yell at them, I treat them mean all the time, I really don't have that much compassion like Srila Prabhupada. I run people off from the forums. I run people off from our ashram all the time. We only accept the most sincere, the most pure-hearted, the most dedicated people as disciples. We don't accept. We're not like Srila Prabhupada, extending his compassion to the most fallen. We don't have that kind of potency, and I know it. I know it. So I'm not trying to do a Srila Prabhupada. I'm not trying to imitate Srila Prabhupada. I'm just trying to follow Srila Prabhupada's instructions to the best of my ability, and now I've done that. It's done. And it can't be undone, because we have digital copies of everything all over the place. So try to understand. This mission is actually complete. We've given the path all the way up to the highest. And yeah, you have to dig to find it. You have to read everything very carefully, several times, from the beginning to the end. Now, this is the beginning of the end of my pastimes. I'm getting ready to leave this world. I'm getting ready to go into retirement. I'm getting ready to sit in a quiet glen by a river in India and just chant the holy name. I don't want to preach anymore. I'm getting tired of it. It's time for me to continue my own devotional activities. These activities aren't natural for me. They're not comfortable for me. They're not, how can I say? They're not what I would do if I had my own choice. I've said this many times. It's nothing new. And Krishna says, you have to follow your own nature. What can repression accomplish? So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go and buy a little piece of land and raise some vegetables and chant a holy name and take care of my disciples. I've got a few nice disciples now, and that's all I want. I don't want a big organization. I don't want lots of followers. I don't want fame. I don't want money. I have a little money coming in, and that's enough to maintain our little ashram, and that's it. That's it. Why would I want to? Why would I create a lifestyle where I'm unhappy? If I'm the big guru, why don't I do something that just makes me happy? What makes me happy is just having my little band of men out in the woods somewhere and chanting Hare Krishna. That makes me happy. Getting involved in politics and all this organizational stuff is just so distasteful. And I don't care. Any of my disciples, they can tell you what my real game is. My real game starts after ISKCON ends. You can't do anything about that. You can't stop that move. Because as soon as the economy fails, that's the end of it. No more funding, no more backdoor banking channels, Starting to get my drift? You won't be able to maintain those big opulent temples anymore. You won't be able to feed all those starving immigrants that you bring over to staff them. All those sleepers. I know. The game's almost over. Huh? It's almost over because the society that spawned it is almost over. It's almost complete. It's almost done. We're in the end game. So it's time for us to exit. It's time for us to go off the public stage and onto the private stage. We already have everything we need. And we don't want more than that. That would be foolish. But you see, fools are always overreaching. They're always going and getting in too deep and taking on too much, more than they can handle. I'm not like that. I'm not greedy. I'm not a fool. I just have what I want, what I can handle, what's good for me,